The 22 days of intense fighting in Gaza forced thousands of civilians to flee their homes. More than 50,000 fled to UNRWA facilities, mostly to schools that were turned into emergency shelters. Just a week after the hostilities ended, UNRWA reopened all of its schools in Gaza, and some 200,000 students returned. Teachers spent long hours listening to children recounting their experiences that no child should ever have to live through. UNRWA schools focused on giving the students a sense of normality and security, helping them forget the devastation outside the school walls. Remarkably, UNRWA managed to maintain food distributions throughout the conflict and quickly resumed its normal services to the refugees when the fighting was over. The UN estimates that the 1948 Arab-Israeli war drove over 700,000 Palestinians from their homes. A wave of destitute people flooded the Middle East, in Gaza, the West Bank, Jordan, Syria and Lebanon. Starvation was rife. No one will ever know how many died.
Everybody was looking to save his life. I forgot my daughter. Then I have gone back running to the village and get my child. She was 6 months old, and took my daughter. Now she is 6 years old. She is a schoolmaster now.
In times of extreme hardship, there are a few individuals who distinguish themselves by helping others in extraordinary ways, despite their own suffering. Ali Harb is such a person. He and his family were part of this mass exodus, fleeing their home in Ashdod and ending up in Gaza. In 1949, the international community mandated UNRWA to provide aid to the growing refugee population living in camps across the region. Ali was a 25-year-old engineer, and when UNRWA began its operations on the 1st of May 1950, he immediately joined the agency. He was thrown into the most urgent job of the time, construction and maintenance of the camps.
I have built the warehouses for the food of the refugees.
Right.
They started to distribute the flour and this and this
Already,
and this.
yes.
Without making the stores.
Oh, right.
It was very difficult.
They start off on the street and so on, yes.
I was working day and night.
Really? You were a construction person?
Construction, yes.
Oh my goodness.
UNRWA committed itself to the education of the refugee children. Even if the first schools were in tents and out in the open, UNRWA had taken the first steps in developing the human potential of the refugees. Health and welfare services and education became regional success stories wherever the agency had established operations. By the late 60s, literacy among the refugees was higher than among the population in some of the host countries. The 1967 war caused a second exodus, in which people that had been born and brought up in camps fled to the east bank of the River Jordan. Among some 190,000 who crossed the river in June that year was Ismail, a legendary midwife, today still working in the camps in Jordan. She remembers one of many dramatic episodes during the flight.
ومشينا إلا المرة بتطلق ووسط نص وهذا الشعيب وهالناس سيت. طب شو بدها تلد هاد منعونة التميس؟ شو بدها اسوي لها؟ معي شمس. شو بدها اسوي في المرأة؟ أجيب قلت للنسوان واحدة تمسك العباء من هنا وواحدة تمسك العباء من هنا. بدنا نولد المرأة، خليهم يقتلونا. بدنا الأهل يشوفونا قاطبين يقولوا له قبصر شو تحتوا فينا. قلت لهم يعني لو بدنا نموت بدناش ندشرها. طيب قطعنا الصران، جابت الحجرين، ولدت المرأة، جابت ولد هي زلمة جامعة متجوز من عجور.
The 1967 refugee crisis remains one of the biggest challenges UNRWA has ever faced. Severely underfunded then, and regrettably it continues to be so today, The agency coped with the situation by relying on remarkable commitment from Palestinian aid workers in desperate circumstances.
No shelters, no latrines, no waste disposal. So UNRWA looked around and found that I can help as an experienced sanitarian. So I came over here and started establishing a new sanitation division, and we did a good job, I think. The result was that no epidemics, no communicable diseases, outbreaks, and nothing of this sort.
The agency continued to face severe tests during the turbulent decades that followed. In 2007, the Nahr el-Bared refugee camp in northern Lebanon was reduced to rubble in fierce fighting between the Lebanese army and the radical group Fatah al-Islam. But today, life is slowly returning. Rebuilding the camp is currently one of UNRWA's most urgent priorities. Again, UNRWA never failed in its commitment to refugee education. The Nahr el-Bared children got places in schools in neighbouring camps while the battle raged. And as soon as it was possible to operate in the camp, new schools were established in place of those that had been destroyed. But today, the agency's school system is severely strained in all its areas of operation. In Jordan, UNRWA officials say a lack of funding may harm the agency's educational services in the near future. And in Syria, the agency needs to build new schools to replace many of the old buildings that have become overcrowded and dilapidated. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency will continue to assist its refugees and rely on the skills and commitment of its largely Palestinian staff to fulfill the monumental tasks ahead.
But you know what now? Because we can't get any cement into Gaza, they're starting to build with mud again. Just like in 1950.
Well, they have done back.
Yes. Now we need you
1948.
back to rebuild the ones that are destroyed this time, huh?
Now,
Now you come back to help us rebuild them.
I am ready.
You
I am ready.
That would be great.
I am ready. As long as I can move, I'm ready.
In July 2009, during UNRWA's Summer Games in Gaza, 6,000 children went to the beach to break the world record for kite flying. Meticulous monitoring of the event confirmed that 3,710 kites were in the air simultaneously for the required 30 seconds. The Gaza children became official world record holders, registered by the Guinness Book of Records. This time, UNRWA helped Palestine refugees to the top of the world, extending not just relief and human development, but providing hope and inspiration to the next generation.